Wait, so were you there for the famous Michael Jordan interaction with Ken?
I was.
Really?
I was.
So how you feel about Mike now?
Mike, nah.
I put this on everything.
Party people.
I love this.
It's your boy,
My
sweats
and my clothes. I thought I told you this is my world, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, party people in the place to be. It's your boy, Mazi. I haven't done one of these in a while.
They're selective now. You
Very
feel me?
selective. Very selective with our choices. Packed house tonight. Lambo, what's going on? How you doing? And Skrills, my dog.
What up?
What's going on with you?
Hey, I'm out here on my little smoothie tip, you know what I'm saying?
What's in the cup, man? Be specific.
It's a raspberry smoothie, sugar-free, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get right with the Lord.
Hey, man. For sure.
I appreciate you calling me the N-word, dog, you know what I'm saying? A lot of Mexicans out here taking free way with that shit, you know what I'm saying? Not me, though. You feel me?
Oh, my God. That was... I didn't even think about it like that. That's funny, though. Now to the right of me.
Come on.
In order for me to introduce this guest, though, I think we got to do a little bit of story time because we got to do the background, right? Mm-hmm. So shout out my god brother KP the Prophet. It was the year was maybe it was in the 2000s for sure, early 2000s.
I like that. Let's not be specific.
Yeah, he picked me up from my apartment that I was staying in with my pops. He in the slab. There's a mixtape they just listened to. I grabbed the CD cover or the cassette, or not the cassette, the CD disc, the disc, if you will. Looking at the case, straight out the stable. Lil Ken, right? I'm listening to it. I'm like, this is hard. This is hard. Who is this guy? KP telling me this Lil Ken. He out the city doing this thing. I said, bet. That's what's up. Couple months go by, maybe a couple years go by. Allegedly, we was doing our mixtape thing, me, BP. He comes across back to the stable, right? And he was like, bro, you heard this guy Lil Ken before? I was like, I'm familiar with the name. He plays Going Fed, right? And there was a line in the song, it was in the third verse, and we was going to Judson at the time. There was a line that said, we about to blow up like a Judson rocket. And when I tell you, the hallways at Judson at the time, if it wasn't Get Your Mind Correct, Get Rich or Die Trying, or Ken straight out the stable, whatever was in your Walkman at the time, Walkman, yes, this is aging myself. Walkman at the time, you were lame. It was like you wasn't up on game. Fast forward, the deal happens with Chamillitary. Lil Ken, famous, gone, out of there. Footage of him going across, world tours and all that. Now we are here on Mazi's World. Ladies and gentlemen, famous Lil Ken, a.k.a. Hollywood Jackson.
Northwest in the building.
What's going on, man?
Everything is everything, brother. Everything is everything.
Listen, I feel like we had to, in the words of Cody Rhodes, we had to finish the story, right?
Well, let me first cut you off by that intro was second to none. You know what I'm saying? I gotta tell you, man, that was
Appreciate
amazing.
you,
that was
man.
amazing. I appreciate all of that.
Nah, I'm just speaking from a fan's perspective, dog. Like, I've been following your storyline for a while. You know what I mean? Your career and everything you've done for the city, and it's dope. It's dope to see. You know what I mean? We was championing you from the go, from Third Degree to the Chamillionaire situation, and seeing you on TV, Rap City, and all that in your video. We was like, bro, this is crazy. On Chamillionaire.com and the forums and the blogs.
Hey.
Yeah, bro. Like those conversations was crazy. And I don't know if you've seen them yourself, going in there, looking at them and seeing what people were saying, but just know the city was championing you for, you know what I mean, for what you've done. And salute.
Bet,
So, you know what I
appreciate
mean?
y'all. Appreciate the city too.
Nah, for sure, man. So where do we start? Because like I said, I feel like we had to finish the story, because I'm sure you've seen the previous episodes. We had Lavola come up here. We had Kyle, talk to him. And it felt like it was only right, you know what I mean, to have you sit down. Unfortunately, if we get a chance to talk to Mark G, that'll be great. But I know what his
Shout out
situation is.
Marky G.
And shout out Mark G, you know what I mean? With the situation he got going on, hopefully he gets, the help he needs, and then we can, have that conversation one day. But I was like, we have to talk to Ken sometime. And I know, and you know what I mean? And I know we talked in the DMs and all that, and you were like, yo, when it's time, I'll let you know, I'll pull up. And so, and then here we are.
Here we go.
Here we go, man. So
you know where you want to start at, so you know what I said? Yeah, don't even.
No, but I don't want to go there yet. But I feel like we should really just talk about the impact that y'all made with Third Degree. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it was cool to see somebody out the city that was really holding shit down for real.
At that level.
Because obviously Swisher House had shit on lock. Let's be real.
Right.
The Houston pipeline was crazy.
Right.
Dallas is doing their thing. The DSR, you know what I'm saying? And to hear Third Degree, somebody out our city in the backyard, you know what I mean? We could go up 410 to Urban City and catch y'all's mixtapes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or some people may say, Willem X LimeWire, allegedly. You know what I mean?
That was a crazy time. That was a crazy time. Starting with before even Third Degree. You know what I mean? Before I even got with Third Degree, I was with a group called Belly Proof. And that's
right, with KP, yeah.
With KP. That's why KP was on Straight Out the Stable.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know Straight Out the Stable, I recorded with Belly Proof. I didn't record that with Third Degree.
Right.
So that shit was recorded in a closet. You know what I mean? And then Juan had heard it before it dropped. And then he was like, man, I want to sign you to Third Degree. How do I get this tape to come out on my label?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they did the business deal, and however it worked out. And then that's how that project ended up coming out at Third Degree. So it was technically the first Third Degree project.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Third Coast from the Sun was a mixtape that came out, but that wasn't, it wasn't a Third Degree yet. It wasn't a group. It was just, that was a mixtape, and then we came after that. So
yeah, man, because listen, straight out the stable was like, yo, this is dope. Like, I'm excited because I'm listening. Obviously KP showing me his verse and everything on there, and I was like, no, this is tough, and I was like, yeah, we doing some shit here. I was like, that's what's up, man. Hell yeah. And then now, it's it's dope to really kind of get your side of things, because there's a lot of questions here. Because it seemed like, I don't want to say potholes per se, but when Skrills and I was having this conversation the other night, you had the Straight Out the Stable, Back to the Stable. You was on the Grill Skills and Purple Spills, you know what I'm saying? I can't think of the mixtape, but it was a 4 jerseys on the cover.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I was on pretty much all of them.
You was on pretty much all of them. But where it started getting crazy for me was, it was Crunchtime. Kylie was on the cover, Mark G was on the cover, and Live was on the cover.
Yeah.
You were on the tape, but you weren't on the cover, so it was kind of like...
Yeah. Well, first, let me, I can't see Skrills right now, but I remember when he was describing it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I kind of was looking kind of like sour, because maybe he don't know the whole story, because he was kind of like, I was a big fan of Live and big fan of Mark, and he was like, Ken is kind of off to the side. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's like, nah, you know what I mean? Like, I was the foundation, you know what I'm saying? Like, fundamentally, you know what I'm saying? And
my bad, really quick, just to clarify that, right? And we just had this convo last night, actually. Shout out Twin Peaks.
Facts.
Listen, so... Because when I came across Third Degree in general, like, there was only 3. So this whole time in my head, I'm thinking there was only 3. I didn't even know that you were the foundation of it.
Okay, so you saying that the timing when you got onto the clip was yeah.
There was 3.
Got you.
So when I heard your name, it seemed like you came after the fact. That's how I ingested that, and that's how I ran with it for the longest. Till Mazi corrected me. He was like, "Bro, Ken was the first one out the gate." And I didn't know that. So
okay, because like before, like I said, before it was Third Degree, Juan just wanted to do music. Like, he just was like, trying to find artists, and so he came and found me, because I would always be in Urban City freestyling. So he was like, man, just come through, you know what I'm saying, and just see if you something you want to work with. And he introduced me to Live, and that's when I first heard Live, because I didn't know Live. I just heard that verse he did on Third Coast from the Sun, and I was like, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, hell yeah, I want to rap with him. You know what I'm saying? And so that was the first time that we actually started to come together and collaborate, and make music all at one time. You know what I'm saying? And then, from there, you know what I'm saying, it was Back to the Stable, and then, of course, the solos and all that. And when it come to Crunchtime, because you was asking, like, why I wasn't on the cover, the original cover I was on. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
The original cover, there's 4 of us. And then, the situation happened. If I don't know if you want to get to that right now, but the situation happened where I left Third Degree. And it was kind of like a spite thing. You know what I'm saying?
Which,
like they felt spiteful.
So
and they
yeah,
took
because
me
that's
off
what,
the cover.
and then that's when Skrills and I was talking, because I think Skrills, if I'm not mistaken, you said you would kind of see all the mixtape since day one, right?
That's how I got introduced.
So that's when it was like since day one, Kyle's the front man, Live's off to his right, which if you're looking at the CD is to the
Damn,
left.
look,
And
Mandela
then-
effect. Fuck.
See, that's crazy.
That's wild. Never seen that shit in my life.
The
bro.
fourth, yeah, there you go.
yeah,
so you know, they felt the way, and understandable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how I go in hip hop and rap, and you know,
Right.
it's just like people getting their feelings and they want to show who's, you know. So they just wanted to take me off to show like, nah, this is the new nucleus. This is what we really going on, and you out the way, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how that went. You know.
Yeah, and we was like, yo, what happened with Kid? So that's when we started, you know, the forums was really going on. And obviously, you know, the cock and lock thing was going on. But then like, yo, Cam about to go to Chamillitary. And we looking at the internet like, no way. Like, no way this is about to happen. Like, the door's about to get kicked down, like kicked open finally. You know what I mean? So we was like, yo, Cam about to go. Then there was rumors about Live being signed to Chamillitary. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a lot of that talk was going on. And then obviously Sound of Revenge happens with Chamillionaire, trains rolling, Ultimate Victory comes out. You must be crazy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
Featuring Famous was like, what? What is going on?
Even the transition into that, because I was just
The
talking to
mixtape
my partner.
Messiah, yeah, he was on mixtape Messiah. Was
yeah.
it 2?
I was on all the Messiahs except for the first
Except
one.
for the first one, right?
Yeah,
But that's when we first heard you on
6.
part 2, though.
Yeah,
And that's when it was like, then when Fame said, the tone don't run.
Told y'all again, y'all, the tone don't run. I'm so hot, I'm so cold. Call me frozen son. Up in NY, boys like, you frozen, son? Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. When I heard that the first time, I was like, yeah, you can't tell us shit now, boy. All my partners in Houston, like, what's happening? Like, we here now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That Cam situation, that was crazy, because I knew Cam, of course, in Third Degree. You know
For
what I'm
sure.
saying? Like, so we had a relationship. And it's crazy because we kind of even had a conversation right before he signed. Me, him, and Juan had a conversation. And I didn't even realize maybe he was trying to integrate me into it then, because there was no reason for us to have the conversation. You know what I'm saying?
sure,
like, and him to
right.
tell me that he had everything going on. But then I had went to Bastrop, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe 6 months after that, you know what I mean? So then I was gone. And in the midst of me being on vacation and, you know, I was watching everything happen on TV. Like, I'm watching these guys. Like, I'm watching Jones and Paul, the videos. And, you know, everybody looking at me like,
Yeah.
what happened?
What happened?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, don't trip. You know what I'm saying? When I get back, I'm going to touch in. I'm going to lock in with all of them. And then one of them going to sign me. They going to have to. I'm going to make something. You know what I'm saying?
For
Like,
sure. Yeah, because all lines are on Texas at this point.
Exactly.
And everybody's getting scooped up from everywhere, damn near on the land, except the city.
Exactly.
So we was kind of like,
And that's how I felt like we had to be a part of that move. Because the movement is pretty much over now. But when it started, I was like, we got to be a part of this.
right, because they were damn near getting everybody out of Houston.
You know
It
what
was
I'm
like, as soon as they got Jones, like as soon as Jones, Paul, and everybody went to Asylum and Universal, it was like, then Slim Thug went to Star Trek, Magno got picked up by
Right.
There's a Storm
There's a
with
Storm
Clue,
and
and
all
I was
that.
like, yo,
got
they,
to.
come on,
And
bro.
DSR had got their situation.
the shit, got their situation.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, come, what's
Yeah.
up with here? You know what I mean?
So, I mean, as soon as I, and it's crazy, this my guys right next, this is RawBeness, by the way, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, for sure.
Money my boy Mike D. And, you know, I was telling him when we was in there, because we was all in there together, you know what I'm saying? And I was
sure.
telling him, like, man, when I come home, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to record a bunch of music, I'm going to send it to him, and one of them going to sign me.
Yeah.
That's what I told him. You know what I'm saying? Like, now that's manifestation. You know what I'm saying?
And
Of course,
execution at its finest,
you know
for
what
sure.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I came home, I really thought it was going to be Watts or Slim, because I had a better relationship with Slim. But, you know, I sent him all the music, and Cam was the first one that bit back. And you know what I'm saying? It was just like, man, it's lit. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to start a label. I'm trying to start this Chamillitary thing. And I think it's a misconception that people think that he wanted to sign me as a solo artist. Because I think people look at it like, well, damn, what happened? Why you ain't just pop, you know what I'm saying, when he signed you? But when he had approached me with the deal, it was like a group deal for like, he was like, he described it like a Wu-Tang or Dipset, you know what I'm saying? So he's gonna be like, it's gonna be me, you know, Magno, Young Ro, like he just named a bunch of rappers, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, that makes sense, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna shine either way.
Regardless.
You know? Yeah, so it's
For
just
sure.
like, I'm cool with that. So that's kind of how that came about. So then,
That's
yeah.
hold on. Let me stop you there. That's interesting because now I didn't know that in detail.
Yeah.
Like I knew Chamillitary was like the label, and obviously there was Chamillitary mixtapes, and with 50/50 and Razak and those guys, but I didn't know that was the idea, was to make a Wu-Tang style crew.
Yeah, that would have been, to me, because it's like, that's how you really create a real movement, you know what I'm saying, with a bunch of people. And I'm not going to get into the details and the reasons why no one else signed. I was the only one that signed. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
And I think, I take that back. Young Ro signed. But then as soon as he signed, he kind of just, he let everything get to him. You know what I'm saying? Like the hype and the, the attention, and, he kind of didn't produce, a lot of music like he was supposed to. But so yeah, it kind of just left me kind of like, all right, where everybody at? And I still did my thing, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what Money, Power, Fame and all that. That's me working solo, and you know what I'm saying? But I did the best with the pieces I had, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that was dope, man. It was dope to see, and then even the footage that even Rapper Rick was here, and he was talking about the world tours, you know what I'm saying? And then talk about that for a second, bro. Like leaving Texas, because I'm sure leaving Texas is one thing. Touring the country, Florida, California, New York, all that, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But to lead a country, to perform music, bro.
Hey, I mean, Al, I'm gonna be honest. When I was in those moments, the same thing I told myself, like, stay conscious, bro. Stay conscious in this shit. You know what I'm saying? And be aware and take all this in, pause, because I don't know if it's gonna keep happening or happen again, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, this is lit. And, I think the first place we went was the UK. So that's kind of similar to the States, but then you start talking about India and Germany and Amsterdam, and it's like the cultures be so different,
right?
And, you know what I mean? And they just looking at you like, you're an American. You know what I'm saying? We can tell.
You stick out, bro. Right, like, you're not one of us, dog.
Yeah. So, I appreciate Cam for even, because he didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because it's a lot of major artists and people who sign real record deals that don't get to do the shit I did.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So, I got to salute him for that. And, to see, the reaction and see people trying to rap back the words in their language to the shit I'm saying,
right.
And it ain't making sense to me, but it's just cool. They feel the energy. That's yeah. It ain't no description,
Nah, for sure.
Straight up.
So, obviously, with that kind of love and attention, there's going to be hate. So, I'm sure the whispers and the talks kind of grew loud from back home. You know what I'm saying? And then you come home, no Kings come out on the radio.
Before go ahead,
Screw.
Before we get to that part,
go ahead.
What do you remember the first like I'm treated different now?
Facts.
Right? Like
good shit.
Whether it's good, bad. Well, I'm looking more for that, like maybe someone that was like supporting me back then, now that I'm in a level that no one's ever been in. Do you remember a moment where you felt like, you don't have to say who it was, but just a moment where you felt like, like now I set myself apart, so like I gotta move different type shit.
Right.
I can't think of a specific situation because as soon as I signed, I moved to the H. It was almost
got out of there. Like,
it was almost like immediately, you know what I'm saying? And so being in the city, I would frequent the city and I would come back, and the response to myself was, it was way different from supporters and, from people at restaurants and stores, just everywhere. You know what I mean? Everybody kind of knew what was going on. You know what I mean? The hate part, I ain't gonna lie to you, I've been dealing with that since the beginning.
The third degree days.
Since the start, because I feel like what's different with me and a lot of other artists, especially in my lane that I'm in the sphere I'm in, is like, I really started in the streets, like before rap. Like people, the who's who in the city, the who's who, you know who the who's who.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They knew me before rap. You see what I'm saying? They don't know me as a rapper. You know what I'm saying? So when I start rapping, it's kind of like they already scratching their head like, oh, he rapping?
Oh, you rap? Oh, you rap now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when it kind of start working, it's already like, oh, shit, who this? You know what I'm saying? So then it just kept progressing. The hate just kept getting more because it's like, damn, this dude really think he a rapper.
Right.
It's like, nah, I'm the coldest. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I apologize for y'all's feelings, but I'm not really. But yeah, like it was crazy. It was crazy just coming home and feeling the energy. I loved it though, man. I love the city, bro. I love the city, man. Everybody know if they knew me or know me, like this what it is. You know what I'm saying?
For
like,
sure.
Yeah, it's all it is. And if I can bring everybody with me, I would have did that. You know,
right.
Straight like that.
And I was gonna say, do you think that may have been the hate too? Is the fact that you didn't take them with you?
Yeah. I mean, people probably, and I understand that people probably in perspective was looking at it like, that was the next move. That was going to happen next. You know what I'm saying? So that ain't my fault. I never told y'all that because I still experienced it.
But that's the thing. But that's the perception of it, is the fact that, okay, my man's got on, so I know he's going to come back and get me.
Yeah. Well, see, and that's why I appreciate and love SoSanAntone so much. Shout out to my partner,
My guy, yo, what up, Sos?
You already know. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Because when the situation occurred, I came home and I started Cocked and Lock. A lot of people don't know that either. You know what I'm saying? Like Cocked and Lock, like I created the logo when I was down. You know what I'm saying? I came home, me and Jay Lee.
Fire logo, by the way.
Hey, appreciate you.
Yeah, facts.
And we came home and we decided to just do our own thing and not really mess with nobody else. And then Cam came, offered the deal. It made sense. So we moved forward on that. And then I was kind of like, all right, but I still want this Cocked and Lock thing to be something in the city. Like I wanted to like still have legs. So I started looking for artists. And Sosa happened to just pass his tape to Jay Lee, just like, man, just check it out. So we checked it out. I was like, him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like,
it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, for real. And he been rocking ever since, man. And he been loyal, and he done held it down, held the ship down. And I can't do nothing but show him the utmost appreciation and respect and love for that, because he did that for real. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And he made his name. He made his name, and he made Cocked and Lock. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And lay it. So. Yeah,
it's crazy seeing Cocked and Lock. I remember the Eisenhower Flea Market. Y'all had to shop in there.
The pictures.
Yeah. Y'all had to shop in there because that's where I was getting a lot of my mixtapes from.
Okay.
So I remember seeing you in there one time, and I was like, oh shit, this is fucking fan. Like, what's up? We chopped it up for a little bit, but that was light years ago. But I remember seeing you in there. Obviously, Sosa was in there working, pushing the tapes out and stuff like that. But it was dope to see. I was like, that's dope seeing this like literally down the road from where I was at. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to give kind of do the city to feel. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's not like Swisher House used to say, major without a major deal. You know what I mean? It's like we trying to make it feel major.
But that was the time though when the independent grind was there and you had to really get out of the trunk or set up shop.
That's right.
And do things the right way. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
really, from a strategic perspective, like, do you recall like at the time, and like Mazi said, when people would see you, it'd be like a fucking star. You know what I mean? So do you remember having to do anything specifically, like, well, I'm talking like physicals, like whether it be giving out, like street teams were a thing, right?
Yeah.
So like giving out flyers or whatever. Like right now in today's day and age, it's easy. You just post shit and then enough people see it and they see you in the street, you kind of get that look, right? Like I know him.
Right.
But at the time we didn't have socials like that. I think MySpace was like kind of jumping or whatever. But do you recall having to do anything specifically, like show up to certain shows or pop-ups or whatever?
In the city?
Yeah.
Nah, not really. Not really. Because like I say, it's the who's who and the people that promote shows in this city and do things like that, I feel like it's that same thing. It's like they know me. So it's like, man, we ain't gonna book this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking at it like, man, I'm just, I'm trying to get on like everybody else.
Exactly,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But they looking at it like I'm already
You're already on.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I never had to do nothing like that. Most of my work I put in was in the H, you know what I'm saying? I just felt like because I was with Chamillitary, it just made sense for me to try and, make that whole thing shift in that city and then bring it back to the tone. Because like I say, I feel like when it comes to the tone,
your name is already established. Just be real.
Yeah, so I didn't have to really do too much here. My thing was like, I'm trying to like affect other markets, you know what I mean? And then always think in my mind bringing it back home.
And it makes sense.
And the reason I asked though is because if you think about it, man, at the time, since you didn't have to do a lot of leg work in that sense, right? Mm-hmm. You just had to be fucking dope, which y'all were. So I feel like that's where a lot of times people were like, I fuck with them because they're dope.
Yeah.
You feel me? As opposed to now you get someone that's not as dope or not really dope at all these days, and you put them out enough, you put their fucking flyers out enough, you buy ads and shit, like people start...
They start leaning like, he might be all right. Yeah, it's a lot different. It's a lot different. And that's why I appreciate the era we came up in, because I am an artist that's about the music. You know what I mean? Like before everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? Before anything material, before any amount of followers, fans, like I'll sit in my room for days and just perfect one verse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and just to have people respond to me the way they did when I was doing it, that's what it was for. It was everything else just came with it. You know what I mean? It was just showing y'all who the best was, how I can, say different things in a different witty way. And, everything that happened along with that was just a blessing,
For sure. For sure, man. So, yeah, let's get, go, what?
No, that was me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was me.
I was like, y'all damn near got the same voice. Zana, so like, when No Kings hit the radio, bro, I think that was definitely a moment of time where time stopped. Where it was kind of like, what's going on? And obviously, like we was mentioning before, since day one, Kyle on the front live, Mark, you know what I mean? And then you doing your own thing, and then you come back, you drop Money, Power, Fame. That's on there. And like I said, the radio plays, and it was kind of like, what's going on? And at the time, like I knew, but I didn't know. Because you can only hear what the internet is saying is one thing. Because at the time, I was like literally in the house. I was on the forums. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Checking out website forums and what people were saying. Then obviously, with most of my friends, you know what I mean, that was into the same music I was into, listening to the mixtapes and going to different shops. We kind of hear different things. So when that dropped, I was like, yo, I didn't even know they had problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. You know what I'm saying? And
so you just fought back at that point.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to make that clear, because the reason why we're even discussing this right now is because something that was said on this platform. You know what I mean? It's not something that so if now we discussing it. But yeah, like when it come to homie, man, like I'm gonna be honest, like even from the very beginning, you know what I mean? Like I always kind of, he was never my type of guy. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like as far as like just who I would hang around. It wasn't like I didn't dislike him, but you know how it go, just your vibe and your wave and how people are. Yeah. So, and when the Third Degree days and all them early days happened, we never had like any type of issue. You know what I'm saying? Now I would say, like, in my opinion, like even from back then, like, dude, I might feel like he got like a lightweight obsession with me. You know what I'm saying? Or obsessed. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, even from back then, like I say, we didn't have no issues. And he would always do little things that made me kind of be like for example, like, this is what the first thing that tipped off. Like, we had a show in Dallas, Watts, had a big underground show, DSR, Slim Thug, Chamillionaire, us, everybody's there, you know what I'm saying? Like, big hotel, you know what I'm saying? So after the show, we all in the hotel, we running around, and it's this chick that's running from room to room, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she just flipping everybody, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh shit. So somehow she just ended up in our room, you know what I'm saying? So it was just me and Mark, and at the time, I thought it was just me and Mark in there. So me and Mark, I ain't gonna get too much details, but we was on the bed with the chick, you know what I'm saying? Doing whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then somehow I peeped her side, and homie was in the corner, like kind of just watching, you know what I'm saying? So,
oh wow.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So, so let me just, fast forward. I was like, keep my eye on them. But no issues, though, in the clique. Like, no issues. I had issues with Live. I had issues with Mark. You know what I'm saying? Because we from the same hood.
Yeah, from the same hood. And y'all brothers at the end of the day, y'all, sure, y'all are bound to bump heads.
Yeah,
it happens.
Yeah, and Kyle, I knew him before Third Degree, before Belly Proof. Actually, my first song I ever recorded, bro, was with Kyle Lee. This is before everything, bro. Belly Proof set it up, you know what I'm saying? He knew Kyle. And we ended up, recording the song. And so I've been known him, you know what I mean? So how he got in with Third Degree, it was just us three. And then they was like, he came, he was like he said on here, he was like, I came and asked. And everybody was like, no. Everybody, one, all of them was like, nah. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Like, and I was like, nah, we gotta do this because he from Houston, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we doing slow music. So, it's like, it only makes sense.
It makes sense,
It's solidified. So, like, they was like, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's how he even got in the clique. And when we was around each other, it wasn't no issue. So, like I say, I didn't know there was an issue or a problem until I got signed. You know what I'm saying? And when I got signed, as a matter of fact, let me rewind, because when I came home, he called my phone. He was the first person to call my phone when I came home. And he was like, I want to get you back with Third Degree, back to this obsession thing. I want to get you back with Third Degree. You know what I'm saying? I want to, see if we can make it work out. Wands change, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, cool, nah, I'm doing this cocked and locked thing. I'm doing my own thing, but I appreciate you. Maybe we could work together in the future. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So as you can see at that point, like, straight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You doing your thing.
You doing
I'm doing mine.
Now, shortly after, I did sign with Cam. So maybe that's...
But I mean, let's be real. Like, the opportunity that's there, he would have taken the same deal too.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't talking no checks. Yeah, Cam talking checks.
Right. And then, of course, with his situation, Universal, I'm sure if Kyle hadn't got that call, he'd have been like, yo...
Yeah,
I'm about to go see. Anybody would. I'm about to go see what Cam talking about.
And I can't even say that's what it was. I just assuming, because like I say, I have no idea. But once that happened, that's when the whisper started. That's when like people was like from different circles and different camps in the city was like, man, Kyle said this. Man, Kyle said this. And I was like, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, y'all just trying to throw salt in the game. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And it wasn't until, like he said, when Jay Lee took over Image, Mixtape Messiah 5 was coming out. there's a long line of fans. You know how when his tapes come out, everybody there. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So
Everyone bootlegging them.
You already know.
Yeah.
So Jay Lee in there, because Jay Lee was working with Cam at the time, like moving his mixtapes throughout Texas. And Kyle came in the store at the same day. Now, this is manipulative to me. So he come in the store, there's a line of fans. He like, man, why y'all playing this Houston stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all need to play my stuff. You know what I'm saying? And him and Jay Lee end up getting into it. They damn near about to fight in the store. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
shit.
So while they going back and forth, you know, Jay like, man, you from Houston. You know what I'm saying? Woo, woo. And, you know, he like, man, Ken ain't from the, now you throwing my name in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ken and riding Chamillionaire, you know what I'm saying? So like that to me was like the solidifying. You know what I'm saying? Like I had been hearing it already.
But
Now you saying it verbatim to my partner, to my, you know, person that's really close to me.
Yeah.
So now I believe it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm living in Houston. He called me and tell me about the situation, and that's how the song was made. You know what I'm saying? Like I was living in Houston. He called my phone. I was kind of pissed because I was so loyal to Jay Lee.
Right.
And that was my brother, and I didn't like the fact that he even had to go through that. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
In his music game.
And he shouldn't have to, for
Right.
sure, right.
So I was like, I got him. You know what I'm saying? So I had Money, Power, and Fame was already done. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't gonna lie, that's a hard title, by the way. I just always thought Money, Power, Fame was crazy.
Oh, appreciate it.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
And that was already done, so I just threw that at the end. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and just lit it up there. So that's how the song came about. Cause I mean,
Gotcha.
cause he was like, you know, it was out the blue. No, it wasn't out the blue. You know what I mean? Like it was a reason and a cause for that. And a couple days after the song came out, I drove from Houston. I literally drove from Houston straight to Ingram. Got out the truck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Didn't take no stops. I'm hop out. You know what I'm saying? I pull up, you know what I'm saying? I go inside, I walk up, I go up the escalator. This is how you know my mind's sharper. I was coming up the escalator. He came up the escalator. I was walking straight through Dillard's and I saw him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was just me and him. No entourages, nobody else, right? So he had already been saying on DVDs, man, when I see him, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Right. And I had seen the DVDs. So while he's approaching me, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, all right, he about to swing. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it. Like, we about to get to it. So however this is gonna go is how it's gonna go. So I'm preparing myself for that. Before he even get in striking distance, his hand is extended in a handshake motion. So I'm like, that kind of threw me off. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still not, guard ain't all the way down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that could be a sneak.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I shake his hand, and the first thing he said to me is, we need to talk. We need to talk. So now the threat is damn near neutralized in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, it went from, you know, to now we need to talk.
Now we need to talk, right.
And I feel like he could have made his, because he tried to play it like I was like, oh, no, and it wasn't.
That's kind of, it was, yeah.
It wasn't like that. I feel like he could have still stood on his business and still look, because he want to look a certain way because of what he said. But he did say some man shit. You know what I'm saying? When we talk, he said, man, I've been saying on the DVDs I was gonna whoop you. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to go outside. And I was like, nah, I never wanted to fight you. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, so, and he was off it after that. So that was respectable. You know what I'm saying? Because he did have to at least put it out there.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, like,
and
I'm going to acknowledge the fact that I've been saying this about you.
Yeah.
So however you want to take it. But the fact that y'all still, you know, had a conversation.
Yeah.
It's kind of admirable. I'll be honest with y'all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least from the, you know.
It was a long
what you're
conversation.
saying, yeah.
It was a long conversation. We sat there, you know, the furniture section in Dillard's. So we
this
sat
couch is
there.
kind of nice.
Hey, that's some real Ingram shit right
That's some
there,
Ingram
bro.
shit for
You
sure.
feel me?
I respect that.
You did?
Hey, this leather couch is kind of nice, man.
Yeah,
Let's talk right
let's
here.
talk, yeah, right? Got the marble table and shit, you know? And we talked for damn near about an hour, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I expressed the way I felt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He expressed what he felt. And it wasn't hostile at all. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't hostile, it was cordial. You know, we maybe talked about collabing in the future, and that's, you know, we walked past. So, like I say, back to fast forward to where we at now, you know, I don't understand, you know, the energy so much. You know what I mean? I really, you know, if you saw that album we did, the SoSanAntone on the Map album,
Yeah.
you know, that was a lot for us to come together and do that. So I just feel like,
And
you
I
know,
was gonna say, like, that's kind of weird because, you know, like you were saying, and from what he's saying, it's like, the contrast is kind of crazy for a second.
because I'm telling the truth. So that's the contrast. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm putting this out here so you can hear what it is, and then y'all, everyone else can decipher what story makes the most sense.
Right.
But yeah, like we had issues even for a while past the No Kings. There still was a couple back and forths. And leading up into the SoSanAntone on the Map project, I already knew that. Me and Sos already knew that was gonna happen. I was like, they're gonna come holler at us. You know what I'm saying? When it's time to put something together, because I had my eye on the situation, and he called me. They both called me, him and Live. They reached out to me. You know what I mean? And they was like, we trying to do this project. You know what I mean? We want to see if it could work out. And, I was like, it ain't no big deal. We actually had to talk about the No King situation, even though we already talked, as I just said, we talked about it. But so that's what I mean by that was, something we had to get past. We talked about it. The energy seemed good to me, you know what I mean? And we created that project. I feel like it was historical for the city.
It was monumental for sure.
And, moving forward, so now the place that we're in now, that's the only conclusion I can come to is like this thing that he just got with me. Like he just really stuck on me and what I got going on or whatever I'm doing, because I'm gonna be honest, cause he was like, is it cause I'm shining so bad? Like you said, I'm on overseas, I'm on tour, I'm on TV. Like what you doing is not shining. I swear I don't understand it. Juan told me, he was like, man, we was watching you on MTV, when the ball dropped on New Year's Eve. And he was like, me and Kyle was just sitting there and he just started talking crazy. He was just like, man, Ken, and I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, so where it comes from with me, like you said, I have no idea. I have no idea because like I say, if it was anybody else, I'd be like, okay, we had issues in the past. So we had some type of, you know what I mean?
Right.
But with this person, like there was never nothing.
Yeah. Because
so it's confusing.
And I think, from on this, I'm not gonna speak on behalf of the city, but I know from a Skrills and our perspective, because we talk about it, it's kind of just like, so yes, brothers have their issues. They bump heads. Mm-hmm. They come together and they do SoSanAntone on the map. So obviously you thinking, all right, cool, everything's good.
Right.
Yeah, water under the bridge.
Water under the bridge type thing. And then now we still to this day kind of still
feel
here.
Attention, yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of like.
Well, see, when you say still here, what do you hear from my side? Where have you heard from me that makes it seem like I have an issue up until now?
That's true. I mean, you never really heard nothing from you.
There you go.
I mean, outside of you saying you the best, but which I fuck with, and I want to talk about that.
And I'll be honest,
because I respect that.
Anytime you say you the best,
I don't respect anyone
that
don't say that.
Yeah, anybody that don't say that is kind of like
you in the wrong game.
You know it.
Yeah, but as soon as you say it here for some odd reason, it's like triggering.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I do
it's
it.
Triggering.
That's why I do it. I hope to trigger. And hopefully it inspires too. You know what I'm saying?
And it should. Yeah. It should. But people don't like hearing that. And it's like, stay humble.
I know it, yeah.
And it's like, I get it. You could be humble to a degree, but if you know you got shit going, talk about it.
That's real.
You know what I mean?
That's real.
So
and that's my stance on everything. You know what I mean? Like, and I've been saying it in the music. The funny thing is, I usually just speak through music. So when I ask you, like, have you heard me say anything? I usually just speak through music.
Yeah.
If I got something to say, like, it's gonna come through that. So I've been saying I'm the best since my very first rap.
Right.
And I know I'm not the best rapper, but when at the time.
Right.
Now. But when I'm saying it, it's like you make yourself that. You
right.
consider, you know what I'm saying? You bring yourself to that space. So for me to now say it like on a platform, I'm not saying it in music now. I'm saying it to the IG or I'm saying it to y'all screen. So now they acting like it's resonating different. I'm like, I've been telling y'all this.
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? This ain't nothing new.
But you know how that goes. As soon as you get in front of a camera,
right.
And then
it's all different.
And you have the platform that you have, you know what I mean? Then of course, with social media and how it's just at an all-time high now.
Yeah.
I'm the best in the city.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck shit, you're the best. You know what I mean? It's kind of like what you mean. Like the accolades is there. He's still putting out music, you know what I mean, at a high caliber. So like, what are we talking about?
And plus, I mean, psychologically, everybody know that's an opinionated word. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you can't quantify that in a real way and say this person is actually the best. Like,
right.
So I keep this pot stirring. You know what I'm saying? But I really do feel like I'm the best though. You know what I mean? Like, and I stand on anybody that would challenge that. But.
So one of the things he said, if I recall, was just like the studio sessions. It might have been live actually, I think. But
yeah.
But the studio sessions back then, how y'all try to top each other, pause, like as far as like
competing who have the best verse,
right.
Who gonna kill who.
Right.
Right.
You know what
so
I mean?
I just, when it comes to something like that, I mean, do you think a lot of this stems from that? You know what I'm saying? Like you making a certain record.
A lot of what?
And any animosity between you and Kyle or anything like that?
Because Kyle wasn't competing with that back then. Kyle wasn't competing to have the best verse back then. We used to take Kyle Lee verses off songs. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they just wouldn't fit the mold.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So, I don't think it don't stem from that because, like I say, in those moments when we was all there, me and Live probably had the closest relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like out of everybody.
Of course, two of the hardest punches in there.
Yeah, right. Like we just gelled. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but everybody else was just cool to me. Like, cause I look at everyone else kind of falls just except Marky G. You know what I'm saying? Cause Marky was a dope component too.
He was rapping his ass off.
He was really rapping.
Sure.
And even when I go back and listen to it, I'd be like, man, he really had schemes and wordplay and delivery. You know what I'm saying? But everybody else outside of us was under us. You gotta remember we had Third Platoon, we had AJ, what's his name?
Worldwide.
A-Train, and you know, it was a bunch of people. So everybody else, I just looked at like everybody else outside of me, Live, and Mark. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like as far as the animosity with homie, like it didn't start there. Like I to this day don't have animosity. Let me be clear on that.
Yeah.
I don't feel no way about it. I just gonna address shit and handle mine when it's time to handle it. But, you know, nah, I don't know. You know, y'all would have to talk to him about that now that, you know, the story's on the table.
Yeah. So, damn. That was interesting. That is interesting.
So no more records in the future?
Yeah, I guess no, that's what it sounds like.
All right, man. Well, let's talk Cocked and Locked.
Cocked and Locked.
Because look, I don't know if you heard me.
RawBeness.
I don't know if you heard me, man, but I have an opinion, and this is my opinion. But
Yeah.
Go ahead, Skrills.
so, you know, one thing I think Juan did really good, and I think he's the trifecta in this shit, Mazi, whenever we get him on. But
For sure.
But I think one thing he did really good, and I didn't know he was actually just wanting to do music before he assembled, you know.
The Avengers, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But like, it just seems like Juan found the best, put them together, whether they were gonna fucking mesh or not. He just
You're
found
dope,
the
you're
best.
dope, you're dope,
Right.
you're dope.
That's what he did.
right.
Yeah.
And when it came to Cocked and Locked, like y'all were the closest to that early on third degree of just superstar groups type shit.
Mm-hmm.
You being the front line fame, right? But then you had this cat named Sos, who was like,
Fuck him.
bro,
Right.
I would hear his shit and I'm like, dog, just refined out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, he kind of, from a talent perspective, would outshine you in some cases. And it was just one of those things where I was always curious as to like, I get your frontline fame, but was there ever conversations of putting him front, and you know what I'm saying, in front, as opposed to putting the chips behind him type shit?
I mean, they as far as Cocked and Locked go or Chamillitary?
No,
Cocked and
Locked.
Locked.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was always for him for Cocked and Locked. You know what I mean? Like once the only tape I put out with Cocked and Locked is called Slugs for the Clip.
Right.
And Sosa wasn't on that tape. But after that, everything else I did was Chamillitary. So every push behind that was Sosa. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't sign nobody that I didn't think was
Word.
better than me. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
fucking dope. Side note, that's fucking dope. 'Cause
That
a lot
is
of cats
dope.
out here signing bullshit.
Because you talk about egos, you know what I mean? At that point,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sign a guy like he's
Let's
dope.
go outshine
but
me?
Outshine.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Because like I was saying earlier, to me, it really is about the city, bro. It's not just about me. It's always about the collective. That's why I was kind of, sideways about the shit with the Chamillitary, because I thought it was going to be a collective. I'm not really a solo, individual-minded guy. You know what I'm saying? When it comes, I'm a team.
You're a team player.
So like, I just felt like, with Sosa and me and Lone Star, rest in peace to my boy.
Yes.
Like we just had the same type of components, this, like he said, with Third Degree, and the same type of energy and feel. And yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to bring to the table. And Sosa, man, like, yeah, he a dog.
Yeah.
He a dog.
You talking about like skill, the like technicality,
Yes, sir.
wordplay. Yeah. So
It ain't too many places I can't take his music and people don't be like, who's that, man? He's jamming. I don't care if I'm in Washington State, Seattle, Florida, Cleveland.
Yeah.
It don't matter. Like, they gonna be like, he go hard.
Nah, for sure.
He one of them.
Yeah, for sure. Did you check out the new project?
Hell yeah.
Shit's
Cortez
crazy.
and my dickies on.
No, that whole project is crazy.
Fucking right.
You know what I
Fucking
mean?
right.
It's dope to see that, and it's dope to hear that coming from you. And like you said, to really push the city forward. Like I could tell you meant that, and I feel like you still mean that to this day. Like, do you still check for talent here in the city to like get behind? Or is it just
Not necessarily to get behind, but I'll encourage everybody. So I'll be in everybody's DM. Like I'll be in Rich Gritty DM. I'll be in Izzy. I'll be
Yeah.
in, you know what I mean? I just hit them up, give them some encouragement, give them some words of wisdom if I can. You know what I'm saying? Like if I could see something that could help out with their situation. You know what I'm saying? I just keep my eye on everything. As far as getting behind rappers, I'm kind of like in the same space as Cam, Chameleon. Like he not ever gonna sign no other artist ever again. You know what I'm saying? And just dealing with rappers and egos and all this other stuff, like you gotta be a special person, man. Cause
Yeah.
My ass shit. But yeah, like I keep my eye on everything. You know, I like what I see. The scene right now is.
I was gonna ask you about that from your perspective, man. How you?
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it, man. Like, because you got to think, man. Like, I didn't have nothing like that when I started. I didn't have nobody I could be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, what can I? You know what I mean? It was just me, Juan, and ideas. That's it.
Yeah.
And to see like a real live, like, okay, you can go to this DJ, you can go to this venue, you can go to this podcast, you can go to this radio station, you can go to this studio, you can go, you know what I mean? Like, it's a scene. Like, and if you know what to do and how to tie them knots and put them pieces together, you can make yourself something out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the first step, just making yourself something here.
Right.
Because that's what people don't, once they get into it, they like, damn, it's harder than I thought. Like, I thought I just start rapping, everybody gonna know me. Like, it don't go like that, homie.
Nah, for sure. So who is it that you're checking out these days, man? That you really like giving the stamp, like, nah, this person's dope.
I ain't gonna say that because, you know, it
I'm still the best out here.
Yeah, right. They got a little ways to go. But everything, you know, them Southside boys, the Murder Creek boys, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love what they doing. Of course, Rich Greedy being from my side of town.
Yeah.
The East Side, of course, they gonna always want to have a say. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
RawBeness, you know, that's my clique and what we got going on. Out of those names, though, and you know, shout out to Izzy, man. Damn, I'm sorry you had to go through that, bro.
Man,
because you was really, you know, about to show, you know, how to really, you know, put the scene on the way it was supposed to. And those younger guys, I feel like, are the ones that I would have had my eye on. You know what I'm saying? Like the Riches and the Izzies and the Hoodlums, and you know, those are the ones I feel like really understood the culture. They respected, you know, the OGs too. Like I say, anytime I reach out to them, it's like they understood,
for sure,
you know, where we came from, and you know, so that was always it. But everybody though, but let me be clear, shout out to everybody. Shout out to all y'all in the city making music though.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because I love it and it's dope to see. You know what I'm saying? And everybody keep pushing, man.
Yeah, man.
Word. So not to backtrack really quick, but
go ahead.
The Cocked and Locked situation, man, like I said, that shit was like a juggernaut, man. Was there anything in particular that happened where it just kind of slowed down the things, or you know what I mean? Because it looked like the infrastructure was there for an actual label. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's more on Jay Lee. Y'all should get Jay Lee up here. Because
shout out Jay Lee.
Yeah. He's the one, the mastermind behind everything. Once I started really putting my forward focus in the Chamillitary. So I would say maybe it might be a combination of that. You know what I'm saying? Like me focusing my efforts that way and them having to pretty much, you know, pick up everything on their own, the ideas, what's coming out, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I would say that. But then at the same time, you know, I feel like Cocked and Locked is a brand, like the logo, you know what I'm saying? But SoSanAntone, I don't feel like has missed a step. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I feel like he's always been in the mix and been relevant into this thing. And like I say, back to the movement, when it's only one artist, you know what I'm saying? Because he was the only artist. I didn't continue putting other artists on Cocked and Locked after him. So it's just him and Cocked and Locked. You know, it just, I could see why his name would supersede the brand now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, you know, that'd probably be the best answer to that. You know
Gotcha. I mean, and then I guess in that same vein, like the Chamillitary situation, like was there anything in particular that kind of stopped that situation? I mean, are you still in communications with Cam, like all that situation?
Well, Cam, when he left Universal Records, that to me was when everything started shifting. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as the Chamillitary situation, because I wasn't, Chamillitary is signed to Universal. So, and I'm signed to Chamillitary. Once he gets off of Universal, then it's just we independent.
Right.
So as you, like after that, he started doing his mixtapes, the Messiahs and all that. So that's where you still see me a part of that whole movement. But the label situation is over. And once he started, you know, finding his way into the tech scene and moving in that direction, he pretty much, you know, I ain't gonna say left music alone, but as we can see, you know what I'm saying? Like he didn't really have, so
some real money came in and was like, hey,
right, he's
it's
out
been
the door,
real.
trying to deuces. And you know, me throughout that whole time, we still had our relationship got stronger throughout that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so everything you saw me doing throughout that time, the 1st and 15ths and the freestyles I would do in videos, like that was all me. There was no label. I was investing my own money in the studio, but I was still repping Chamillitary just because that's the brand. You know what I'm saying? So I'm loyal like that. So that was my idea, and just to keep it going up until the point to where we at today, where he is, apparently back, and he has a website.
Chamillionaire.com is back and dropping. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to answer your question, I haven't been in communication with him in regards to this new push.
Gotcha.
But so it's up in the air. I can't say yes. I can't say no. You know what I'm saying? Like I would hope that he would put things in a perspective and see what I've been doing, and make the call. But either way it go, you know what I'm saying, I still appreciate what it was.
So we hear it now though.
Right,
RawBeness, right?
Yeah, RB.
You know what I mean? Let's talk about that. So let's get into it. So what exactly is RawBeness? And
well, see, I'm at the point now, like I was saying, like I really only want to rock with people I would consider family. So the people that you see around me is family now.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and RawBeness, we started, I ain't gonna say we, because they were already doing their thing in the streets. I met my partner Mike D, this Mike right here, when I was down in Bastrop. So we just formed a bond out there. And as we got back into the world, got reinserted, he introduced me to his brother. And I didn't even know his brother did music. When he started playing it, I was like, okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like and then he kept playing more and more and more. And I was like, oh shit, we got us one.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We got
know.
us one. So Money Maya, that's the flagship artist for the label, for RawBeness. And like now we really coming together. We got our infrastructure set up. We got the studio, full-blown studio.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got the visuals on the way. And we actually already got songs that we did probably like 2011, 12. Like I shot some videos with us. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I don't think they up no more, but I got songs with RawBeness and videos out. And Maya had to go. He sat down for I think it was 10 or 7. It was either 7 or 10. So during that time, that's kind of where we had to put the pieces back together. And what I mean, he just came home. So now that he's home, it's back on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He just lit up that Texas challenge, that Faux Mob challenge.
Yeah.
He got a lot of run off of that. So we just gonna keep going from there.
I was gonna say. So what exactly is the plan? Like what's the pipeline? You know what I mean?
Oh shit, that's it. You know what I mean? Like putting Money Maya, like I feel like I say back to staple artists in the city. You know what I'm saying? My guy.
Yeah.
I believe he's one of those ones. You know what I'm saying? Like, and once he gets the opportunity to showcase who he is to everybody in the city, I believe everybody gonna jump behind it. And yeah, for real. And when that shit come, it's just like, it's to the top. You know what I'm saying? Like then the game is different now to where you can stay independent. You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
like,
yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily advise it depending on what type of artist you are, but the type of artist we are, we from the state. So it's just like,
right.
That's our thing. So, either way it go, I just believe that you're gonna see it. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna see it.
Yeah. So real quick, like the pros and cons of the era that we're in with music versus the era, obviously, you grew up in, back then, versus, the streaming era and, being independent. While it is great, I feel like the legwork is a little bit more harder than it was back then. Because, you touching people with, hand to hand, giving out mixtapes and introducing yourself to certain people, building those relationships fan by fan.
Right.
What would you think the pros and cons are in between the, marketing now versus marketing then?
I mean, the pros, of course, is you can reach everybody. I mean, just being able to immediately affect your whole demographic with one push. You know what I'm saying? Like that is something I wish I could have. You know what I mean? Like I dropped this song tonight, y'all hear it tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like that to me is an advantage that, that the new era has. The difference to me is the disconnect. That's the con to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like a artist can have a song and you don't know who that artist is. You just hear the song, you like it, but if they walk past you, you wouldn't know them at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so there's a disconnect between the music and the artist right now that I feel like needs to get connected. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what platforms like this are for. And you know what I mean? Like just to get people familiar with the artist as they can hear the music. So I love that pro. You know what I'm saying? I mean that con. But as far as back in the day, I feel like I was able to, the feedback that I would get, it's just different. I don't care about a like or a comment because I don't know what is behind the like.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know who is behind the comment. So having somebody in my face telling me like, man, that bar was hard. Man, you said what? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that feeling that I would get from that, I haven't felt in this era. You know what I'm saying? Because comments and views don't give me that feeling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And nowadays you don't know what's real, what's bots.
That's what
you know
I'm
what I'm
saying.
saying? And you know, I think is definitely something's missing, and I think there's something there.
Yeah.
I feel like there's something there, and someone's still trying to figure this out on how to break that mold from the streaming era to really just connect with fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I see him. Yeah, I see him.
So I think, you know, I don't know if you're necessarily going to copy the format, but with Chamillionaire.com and what he's doing with the subscriptions program, you know, there's a $5 tier, 10, 20, you know what I'm saying? And really just connecting with fans like that. I think it's really going back to that era where the independent thing, you really got to like really separate yourself somehow, some way.
Yeah, that's the future. That paywall and getting fans direct to consumer.
Right.
That's really the way to, you know, moving forward. I believe to have the best impact and of course as on the business end, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like to get the best results. And yeah, like that paywall system, it's a little, like you say, it's gonna be a little bit more tough, you know, and harder to reach out. But if you can really get that ball rolling
And get your community, get behind it.
Yeah, then you're good. You good. You know
For
what I mean?
sure.
Good money. You know what I mean? And I do think that's the way of the future. And I think that whoever is successful with that first, I don't know if he's the only artist doing that, but whoever is successful with that mode first is going to open up a whole lot of doors for people to be like, yeah, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you know, the world it's crazy because the world is getting bigger from the internet, but it's also shrinking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because we only want to deal with and like what we like. So that's where the niche thing comes in. It's like, man, there's a billion songs on Spotify. It's like, I don't want to hear a billion songs. I want to hear 11. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, and
From my guy.
From the person I want to hear from. You know what I mean?
exactly, yeah.
Like, and it gives that, it's kind of like that underground back in the day where it's like, it's mine. You know what I'm saying? Because once it blows up, it's kind of like it loses its luster.
For sure.
It loses its shine. So it's like, it's kind of coming back to that, like, having your own community, your own people that people feel like this is just me. Y'all don't know about this. Only we do. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the wave. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, for sure. I think I'm trying to think who was the last person to really try to, was it Nip? I think Nip kind of catapulted it with the whole Proud to Pay campaign.
Yeah.
The $100 mixtape.
I think La Russell's doing something like
And
that
now
too.
La Russell with pay what you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like however much you think, however much my project you think is worth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And the fact that now fans are getting a percentage of the project.
Oh, I didn't know that. I ain't know that. Okay,
fans is now getting a percentage of the album.
Genius.
So now it's like, so you telling me if I throw 20 something your way, I get a percentage of the project and of the royalties too?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, it's genius.
Yeah.
So like, I think the game is just wide open with ideas on how to execute properly.
As long as you don't care about being famous. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Look at the double entendre. Hey, really though?
Hey, and that's the crazy thing, because I never did. I never did. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like, because you might get, you know, your people that spend money with you, and you might get people to come to your shows, and you might get the merch sold, and you might get the funds, but then you go outside, you're like, damn, ain't nobody running up to me or nothing. It's like, but don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
The people who mess with you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So as long as you're not caught up in the hype and you're not doing this for attention and trying to get people to, you know, talk to you or whatever, then I think you're good. I think
for
you're
sure.
good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fuck celebrity, man. That ain't even it. I could tell you some stories about that you don't even.
I was gonna say, man, I mean, I guess it's different because you've been through it.
Yeah. I mean, I met a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? Just running up through them spots and them different parties and celebrity, you know, meet and greets and all that. And I just came to the conclusion that I was a lot cooler than all of them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, they talking to me like I'm, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like it's, you know, because I was who I was before the celebrity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so the realness gonna come through regardless of what situation I'm in. I'm gonna be me.
Right.
And but seeing how they act is kind of just like,
wait, so were you there for the famous Michael Jordan interaction with Ken?
I was.
Really?
I was. It was interesting.
So how you feel about Mike now?
I'm rocking with fuck my, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I didn't like the story. It threw me for a loop when I heard it, cause I didn't believe it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't believe it. Cause he asked me if I wanted to go over there. He was like, man, I'm about to go over there and holler at Mike. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you want to come with me?
Yeah.
And I looked, And it was just too many people. It was too crowded. You know what I'm saying?
It's fucking Michael Jordan.
And I'm not that. Once again, I'm not a. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, nah, I'm about to go outside. I had a little bleezy, so I'm like, I'm about to go outside and hit the. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
for
just
sure.
so man, I'll go outside. I'm about like maybe halfway through the blunt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like door open. Hey, come on, bro. We leaving. It's Cam. He like, we leaving.
I know he tight.
I'm trying to
like, hold on, man.
right? Yeah. I'm like, damn, can I? You know what I'm saying? He like, nah, come on. So boom, we hit the door. You know what I'm saying? I skirt out. We passed by Young Jock on the way, so he told that part of the story too.
Yeah.
Young Jock on the carpet. You know what I'm saying? He say whatever he say. So we hop in the car, and I'm like, damn. And I see Cam is like. He's usually cool. Like he don't let something bother him. So I'm looking at him. I can tell like this ain't like it's something different. Yeah, it's something different. You know what I'm saying? Because so he like, man, what happened, man? He like, man, and he telling the story exactly how he told it, online. And I ain't gonna lie, I started laughing. I started laughing because it's like I couldn't believe it.
It was so
yeah,
right.
like, but then he didn't laugh.
Oh shit! Your shit just
right. He looking at me like that shit ain't funny. He's like, I really wanted to punch that dude, and I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying?
Damn.
And we just burnt off, and there's a lot of stories like that. You know what I'm saying? Just crazy things that you wouldn't expect from certain people,
right?
That that's just like, all right, well, if this how it is, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
So any Spurs stories?
Nah,
Damn.
Nope.
Okay, my bad.
Nope.
I'm a Laker fan, so
Oh yeah,
Hey, you ain't got to do all that.
yeah. Come on,
You know what I mean?
man.
Gang
Come on.
ties,
I
you know?
can't believe you said that. I can't believe you said that.
That's what I'm saying. I work with this man every day.
Y'all let him do that here?
I get it.
Hold on.
Half the shit up there is his, and it's all Lakers. So.
This
I
me,
didn't know. Yeah,
and then
yeah.
screws the Duncan paper, I was nice enough to get my man's a Duncan, Todd McFarlane, Tim Duncan figurine,
yeah.
and then
I made a post that said, and I still stand by this. I don't care who y'all put as number one. Tim Duncan is the number 2 basketball player of all time. He's the greatest, number 2. So whoever number 1 is, I don't care if you put Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, you know what I'm saying? As long as you got Duncan at number 2, we good money.
Talk your shit, fam.
We good money. He is the ultimate version of a power forward, the epitome of a team player, the epitome of class, the epitome of fundamental skill. You know what I'm saying? Not talking shit. Handling this business.
Okay, wait. The talk shit, the talk shit part.
And he don't like Jordan. Yeah, I said that. Go check the files. Go check the file. He said that. So I'm rocking with it. I'm rocking with my boy Duncan.
Look, man. So I don't know if you saw a KG story on All the Smoke, but he was saying that he would, talk shit to Duncan and get in his ear a little bit, but Tim Duncan just wasn't phasing him. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, oh, how can I get in Buddy's ear? Like, I can't get him out his pivot. Here go Tim. Tim hit on a move. Ooh.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Good try. Try again. Like,
Yeah.
like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then, I respect him, though. Like, as much as a diehard Laker fan that I am, and I'm a Kobe guy, obviously, but I respect the competitiveness of Tim Duncan.
Do you feel like he gets left, him and the Spurs? Like, be honest. Do you feel like in the ecosystem of the whole conversation, they get left out?
Tim does get left out. I'll be honest
And the
with you.
Spurs, too. As far as the dynasty. As far as Celtics, Bulls, Lakers, Spurs, bro. What is that?
Until the Spurs went back-to-back, I can't call them a dynasty.
They have won back-to-back.
No, they haven't.
The Spurs never won back-to-back?
No.
Okay. Well.
But that's my only argument. Are they a great franchise and organization?
That's a good argument.
Absolutely.
I'm not mad at that argument.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? I'll never take that away from them. But gang.
I mean, the other teams I name are a solidified dynasty. I just feel like the Spurs belong in that same eco. Yeah, I don't
and
see.
And they should. I'll be honest. I'm hating.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's what it has to be. That's what I feel like everyone.
I'll be honest, yeah.
You got it because that's all you could do with the Spurs, man. Because we just so. Professional.
But it's just such a low key team. They know how to win, but they just low key because nobody was flashy.
Right.
The last flashy person was what? Now what? Steph Castles.
It don't matter who, they gonna kick him off the team.
Exactly.
You got tattoos, you gone.
Gone. As Captain Jack. You know what I'm saying? But
Fact, though.
no. I think Steph Castle. I like that kid. I think he's dope. He's dope.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not up on a new
On the new Spurs?
Yeah. Except for Wemby. I think Wemby gonna be the new GOAT, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, for sure.
yeah.
I have nothing bad to say about Wemby. Cool kid. Keldon Johnson, that's my guy. But Steph Castle, that kid he's nice.
Yeah, what position he play?
Point guard. Well, 1 and 2.
Okay.
He alternates.
Okay, so he gonna be able to offset Wemby.
Right,
pretty good.
exactly.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. You know, Spurs are strategic, man.
Yeah, you know them.
They know how to win.
Nah, for sure.
Just
For
like
sure.
me.
So let's talk about this new song you got, Superstar,
Man,
right?
Yeah. 12 G's on the beat.
Yeah.
Man, 12 G's is doing his thing too, man. 12 G's is producing for everyone around Texas. So I was like, bro, like that's Marky G cousin.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, you gotta throw me some stuff, right? So he shot me a pack, and so we came up with the remake for Fat Pat Superstar.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that because I feel like people been asking me a lot, like, man, rap like you know what I mean? Get into the underground for us real quick. So that's what I did on that one. You know what I'm saying? My first verse was kind of like a tribute to Pat, like my flow and my cadence.
For sure.
And then my second verse was more like punches and meat. You know
Makes
what I'm saying?
sense, yeah.
Like straight, you gonna get what you was asking for. So yeah, Superstar, it'll be online 4/14/25, April 14th. I'm gonna debut it this Saturday at the at the Art and Music event with Mind and Soul.
Yeah, for sure. Mind and Soul. Shout out Alan Garza, man.
Yeah, shout out Alan.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what you got going on in the future, man.
Yeah.
So what's the plan next? I mean, obviously you're pushing this single, but anything, album, mixtape?
Mixtape, project, me and 12 G's, you probably see something from us. You'll probably see a project from me and 12. You know what I'm saying? Like a whole body, so you can get that whole vibe. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Other than that, yeah, just more content. You know what I mean? Like more internet content. Cause I don't know if you noticed, like, I've been showing my personality a lot more online.
Yeah,
you know
for
what
sure.
I'm saying? Like, and letting people see, like, you know what I mean? So just giving them just content in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily just the music. Is any way I can, being here talking to you.
Nah,
you know
for
what I
sure.
mean? Like everything. You know what I mean? Like, so y'all gonna just know I'm outside, know you gonna see me. Speak up.
So where is the stable at these days? Because there's been a lot of whispers too. Nah, Fame in Washington. Nah, he in Oregon. Nah, he in the city. He in the H.
That's how I like it. That's how I like it.
We're on Earth is Fame, huh?
Yeah, on Earth. The Earth is my turf. I ain't floated yet. I ain't started floating. I actually just relocated to Las Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm in the LV in the desert.
Yeah.
And,
How's the LV treating you?
it's good. It's
Yeah?
good. Yeah, yeah, man. I got some studio action out there, so I'm already recording. I got some podcasts, some interviews lined up.
Nice.
So yeah, they don't.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
I ain't
yeah.
gonna lie, that's tough.
Yeah, straight on the Fremont. They say Sin City, Ken City. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
Ken City? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And,
Yeah.
yeah, like, so I'm a plan on really like, because that's the first market I've been in. Because like you said, I lived in Portland for a while. I lived in Seattle for a while. And those markets aren't music markets. You know what I'm saying? So there's not really like a musical scene there. There's people, of course, that do
That's
music.
interesting because people say Seattle's like a heavy music scene. Not really?
Not hip hop. It's music. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? Like,
Okay.
Lenny, what's his name? Jimi Hendrix come from there.
Yeah.
What's Kurt Cobain and them, I think, come from there.
Yeah, right.
But as far as hip hop, like, nah. So and there's people who do music. So I couldn't really, fit in and make, wave anything because it's not happening yet.
Gotcha.
For them. But in Vegas, you already know, like it's the entertainment
active.
capital, is active.
Right.
So long as I'm outside, like somebody gon', and that's kind of what it's been. I've been outside, people gonna ask me, I've been playing Superstar out the car.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, y'all gonna rock with
That's
this.
some
when
Texas
it's-
shit, boy.
Yeah. and they think it sound West Coast. They think it's some West Coast because of
Right.
12 got that little vibe with him too. So yeah. So I think it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right in the LV. It's
Yeah,
gonna
for
be all right
sure.
out there. Yeah.
You checking out any residencies while you was out there, or
Nah,
not yet?
Nah, No, you talking about like just going to check them out?
Yeah.
I don't know who out there right now.
Is who was out there right now?
I know Nas was out there.
he was out there, and obviously Usher was still.
Usher, I wouldn't check him.
I'm not going.
Right?
I know 50 was out there for a minute.
Yeah, 50. Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that one. I was there when he was there though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was there. I didn't go check it out though. But yeah. I'm probably gonna fall into all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Once I get myself, you know, in the rotation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll probably end up doing shows. Y'all see me post it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'll be doing whatever I do out there.
Start
you
looking
know?
like a real local out there, like a real resident.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's what I want them to feel like. Yeah, I'm from here. You know how people do when they move to San Antonio.
Absolutely.
They be like, oh, I'm from here now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
For sure, man. Real quick before we get up out of here, what's your thoughts and opinions on the Final Four that happened this past weekend?
I don't have it, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, I know it sounds a little off or weird, but I don't watch sports at all, man.
Really?
I don't watch TV. So I can't even limit to sports. I don't watch TV.
Why does it sound like that makes sense coming from you? I don't know. I don't know why. I just feel like you just be locked in, like you in your own world, or you just be locked into what you got going on.
Yeah, I don't. So when people ask me, the only thing, if it don't come across my timeline, then I ain't gonna really know too much about it. You know what I'm saying? I heard the Final Four was out here. I heard the city was lit. You know what I mean? I heard a lot of events.
Boys was outside.
Yeah,
this
so
one
that's
over
good.
Here, Lisa, she was.
Hey, shout out Secret.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Secret was like really active. Like I was kind of scrolling. I'm like, oh nah, she moved from here,
Boss
to here,
lady,
to here to here. I'm like, Secret really moving. Like,
oh yeah, and she gonna get it done too.
Nah, facts.
And she gonna get it done.
Facts. Skrills, you got any final questions or comments?
Nah, man, I appreciate you coming through, man. Like I say, we hold you in high regard just because of everything you've done and continue to do. Even like you said, inspiring some other artists.
Appreciate it, man.
That are coming up, man. So again, appreciate you coming through, and you're always welcome anytime you drop something.
Yeah, anytime you drop something, let us know. Let us know.
Right,
Doors always open, fam.
Y'all keep doing y'all thing up here too, man. Like,
Come on,
I got
man.
my eye on y'all, and like I say, the things y'all are building for the city and the opportunities y'all are giving the artists. You know, like I say, I wish I had it. Coming up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I see that, and it's just like, man, salute. Y'all,
Appreciate
y'all
you,
boys
man.
is doing y'all thing. Professionalism is key.
Appreciate you. If any platforms where they can find you at, if they're looking to check you out, where can they find you at?
Oh yeah, you already know the IG famous Lil Ken. I'm gonna be, Facebook is old school, but y'all can go on Facebook and type in famous 210, and I'm gonna pop up. I'm thinking about starting a TikTok, so y'all let me know if that's something y'all think I should do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna see the video. Like I said, the video for Superstar is on the way. Superstar the record will be on all streaming platforms, Apple, Spotify, Tidal, etc. And 1901 SoSanAntone is online right now.
Facts.
RawBeness on the way, cocked and locked.
Facts.
210, let's get it, man.
Let's get it. Skrills, where can they find you at, dog?
Shit, man, I gotta go to Vegas, bro.
Let's get it.
Real rap, because bro,
You gamble?
Nah, but I see that's what scares me. I don't, but if I go, it's gonna be a problem.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Don't get sick losing no bread, bro. That's what happened, man.
You lost some already?
Hell nah. Hell nah. Like I told you, I don't gamble. I be in my own world.
Yeah,
bro.
locked in, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and shit. Y'all can find me at Mazi Rose Official. Actually, y'all might find me on a flight going to Vegas too. I haven't been.
Fuck with me.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm set up. I'm straight.
Yeah.
Good money.
I bet. Yeah, because I never been. I've always told it's a good time out there.
Yeah.
I'm kind of scared too. I don't gamble neither, but I know.
I'm right by the strip. In the high rise. Yeah.
Say less.
Let's get it.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Your boy Mazi, y'all be sure to like, share, subscribe. Fame, appreciate you, dog.
Yes, sir. You already
My
know.
guy.
Frontline.
Yes, sir. We'll holler at y'all. Peace.
Maserati.
So focused, I just need some meaning to my name. Plus, I'm cheating with these codes. If you thinking it's a game, that's real talk.